Investec Loyal crosses the line first, but a protest could see the Super Maxi stripped of line honours in the Sydney to Hobart. 6 a.m. Thursday, 29th of December. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ron Wilson.
And I'm Tim Webster. Welcome to 10's Early News. Also this morning, a South Australian man extradited to New South Wales charged with murder.
In sport, Michael Hussey and Ricky Ponting's careers were on the line, but the veterans combined to rescue Australia's innings in the first test against India at the MCG.
And in finance, markets open and retail stocks tumble despite big savings at the post-Christmas sales.
Here's a brief check of today's weather. Ex-tropical cyclone Grant is expected to reform over the Gulf of Carpentaria into a cyclone, causing heavy rain and squally winds for Cape York. Troughs in the east and west will cause a few showers and storms. A protest will be heard later this morning to decide the line honours winner of a dramatic Sydney to Hobart finish. Investec Loyal edged out rival Wild Oats 11, but could be stripped of the title because of a protest from the race committee.
Celebrating like winners, but for now it's only provisional. Investec Loyal's stunning come-from-behind performance soured minutes after the Super Maxi crossed the finish line.
We respect the fact that there's rules in racing, and we respect the fact that there's rules to yachting, and we are confident that the outcome will confirm our victory in the race.
It's alleged a crew member on Loyal, speaking with a television helicopter pilot, inquired about the state of rival Wild Oats' sales, an illegal act under racing regulations.
You confirm, does Wild Oats have their trifle up? Over.
The protest will be heard by an international jury. Punishments can range from a time penalty to disqualification.
I'm very sorry about this event. I can assure you that I could well do without it.
Wild Oats crossed the line only a few minutes after Investec, meaning the five-time winner could be gifted a sixth title.
I don't want to win the race on the condition of provisional winners or anything like that. That's not our go. We like to win on the water.
Investec wasn't just crewed by professional yachties, but also celebrity sports people. They say even if they're stripped of the win, they're still proud of what they achieved.
Whatever happens with the protest happens, but we're first to cross the line and we'll see what happens.
In Hobart, Ben Lewis, 10 News.
A South Australian man has been extradited to Sydney over the murder of a 62-year-old man near Newcastle in October. South Australian police arrested a 48-year-old man at a hotel in Mount Gambier. He arrived in Sydney last night and was taken to Mascot Police Station, where he was charged with the murder of Dennis Griffin. He'll appear in Parramatta Local Court later today. Julia Gillard has received a late Christmas present in the opinion polls, but is still facing an election wipeout in Queensland and New South Wales. Julia Gillard beats Tony Abbott as better PM, up 2 points to 39%. The leader of the coalition dropped 3 points. However, on a two-party preferred basis, the coalition holds a commanding 10-point lead over the ALP. Analysis shows if an election was held today, the government would lose up to 17 seats in the eastern states. North Koreans have stood for hours in sub-zero temperatures to observe the funeral procession of their former leader, Kim Jong-il. The ceremony also anointed Il's son as the new leader, and the world is now watching to see how the new regime manages the secretive, unpredictable state.
It was perhaps fitting for a leader of a country still trapped in the Cold War that Kim Jong-il's funeral procession made its way through the frozen capital of his regime. As the snow fell, so did the tears. How could the sky not cry when we've lost our general, who was a great man from the sky, this soldier says. After the father comes the son, the next leader. Kim Jong-un was given a key position, walking alongside the hearse, just in front of his uncle, the power behind the throne. When Kim's father died in 1994, the funeral and mausoleum cost around £50 million, roughly half what the World Food Programme says it needs to feed 3.5 million facing food shortages this winter.
The trial of the ousted Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak has resumed in Cairo after nearly 2 months of delay, while a new judge was sought. Mubarak is charged with killing hundreds of protesters as well as corruption. Lawyers representing the victims had called for a new judge, complaining the first one didn't give them enough time to question a witness. Mubarak is being held in hospital after claiming to be suffering a heart condition. Sports news, and as we mentioned earlier, Investec Loyal will this morning find out whether she's officially the Sydney to Hobart Line Honours winner following a protest. After being in neck and neck with Wild Oats 11 for most of the race, the Super Maxi pipped the 5-time winner by just over 3 minutes. But the protest could put a dampener on celebrations after a communications incident involving a media helicopter.
Is of course going to be anticlimactic. Again, I'd like to stress that as knocking down that is one thing that can't be taken away from us, no matter what happens, no matter what's said, is we sailed one hell of a race out there.
The hearing will be held in front of an international jury at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Veteran Mike Hussey holds the key to Australia's hopes in the first test after rescuing the innings and perhaps his own career. 5 wickets from Ben Hilfenhaus helped the Aussies to a first innings lead of 51. But the top order crumbled to 4 for 27 before Hussey and Ricky Ponting built a 230-run lead.
The morning belonged to Hilfenhaus as he claimed his first 5-wicket haul.
That's out, caught behind, yes, a big nick.
We identified we needed to start well with the ball, and as a bowling group I feel like we did that, and I was probably the lucky one who came away with the rewards.
The Tasmanian quick removed Dravid, Dhoni, Kohli and Sharma in an explosive spell as India went from 3 for 214 to be all out by lunch. But that wasn't the only collapse of the day. The Australian top order crumbling as Mike Hussey joined Ricky Ponting at the crease at 4 for 27. The old firm resurrecting Australia's innings.
Full shot, beautiful. That's a glorious stroke. It's a good sign, isn't it?
Ponting with his second half-century of the match. Hussey with a career-saving one.
Oh, he's had a go at that, and that's his half-century. Hussey coming to the party when it matters.
Their 115-run stand coming to an end when Zahir Khan removed Ponting for 60. That brought about another mini collapse as Australia lost 4 for 24. But with Mr Cricket still at the crease and with a lead of 230, the Aussies have the upper hand going into day 4. Tim Francis, 10 News.
Nothing wrong with a couple of veterans at the crease. Here's another one. No. Tim Webster, good morning to you. Mate. First of all, retailers were hit at the till, and now they're being hit at the bourse.
Mate, this is all pretty bleak today, that's for sure. Yes, the big retailers have been busy slashing their prices over the past few days, and so has the share market when it comes to the retailers at least. So despite the usual fanfare of the sales season, the share price of both Myer and David Jones fell yesterday on the first day of trading since the Christmas break. Stocks in DJs down to their lowest level since March 2009, while Myer fell to its lowest ever price. Now that flat sales and pre-Christmas profit warnings from the companies like JB Hi-Fi and Billabong helped to drive the sector down. 2 of the country's top motoring bodies have called on the consumer watchdog to investigate the volatility of petrol pricing yet again. Motorists are crying foul in Sydney and Brisbane as prices reach $1.47 from the major retailers, in some cases 10 cents higher than many of the independents.
And it is very difficult when one day you see the price of fuel at $1.37 per litre and then the next day it's $1.48 per litre to feel that somehow you're not being ripped off.
The NRMA says a pump price of $1.35 a litre in Sydney won't return until at least next week. Honda is destroying more than 1,000 cars damaged in the recent floods to hit Thailand. Lines of muddy vehicles are waiting to be turned into scrap metal, with the company vowing not to sell flood-damaged parts or cars. Instead, they're recycling the aluminium and the rubber and disposing of hazardous materials like batteries and liquids. The plant, which produces several Hondas for our market, reopened earlier this month. To the figures, and as I said, it's looking pretty bleak. The Dow Jones and the Nasdaq are both trading in the red. Across to Europe and the main markets finished down. London's FTSE down just 5, but Germany's DAX shed around 2%. Over to Asia, the Nikkei closed in negative territory and Hong Kong's Hang Seng lost 110 points, so it's not real flash. Commodities, oil's lower this morning too, trading at $99 a barrel. Gold also down around 2%. But on the currency cross rates, the Aussie dollar going okay, 101 US cents and 78 euro cents. Our market was no different, of course. It closed in negative territory yesterday, and the SPI is pointing to a pretty weak start to the day today.
National weather outlook for you. Brisbane, late shower and 28 degrees. Sydney, mostly sunny, 24 the top today. Canberra, sunny day. Melbourne, increasing sunshine, just 24. For Hobart, a clearing shower down there at Constitution Dock, 20 degrees. Adelaide, sun and 30 degrees. Perth, a possible thunderstorm, 39. And for Darwin, mostly sunny and 34 degrees. Taking a look at today's newspaper headlines, the Sydney Morning Herald reports on Wayne Swan boasting about the government's efforts in maintaining stability in a volatile economic climate.
The Age says some beaches in Melbourne are up to 40 times over the acceptable bacteria level and people are being warned not to swim at them. Recent storms have sent a lot of pollution into the sea.
The Australian reports the government faces criticism from the Greens for its $490 million youth dental program.
And the Courier Mail reveals the 27 faces of those who've died in house fires this year in Queensland.